I believe him, and I hope that we find that wall.
But I think we found treasure in the sense of a lot of knowledge.
Some of them are an interpretation of known facts, but the dots are pretty close together, and I am thoroughly impressed.
It's been fantastic.
Forget the swamp. Forget the random surface finds. The real action on Oak Island just blew the lid wide open deep beneath the garden shaft. A new drilling operation aimed at the baby Blob has resulted in the discovery of a lifetime. Sources close to the project claim they have finally found it, the primary deposit. We're not talking about speculation anymore. There is physical proof of a carefully constructed chamber containing artifacts that predate Columbus by hundreds of years. The search is over, and the truth of what lies beneath Oak Island is more explosive than anyone ever predicted. Breaching the baby Blob. The turning point wasn't a single discovery, but a cascade of them, all centered around the relentless push into the garden shaft. For years, this area, believed to be an original searcher shaft from the 1800s, was just one of many targets. But as the team from Duma Contracting pushed deeper, past 90 feet, then 100 feet, the island began to give up its most protected secrets. The goal was to reach a mysterious tunnel connected to a void nicknamed the Baby Blob, a dense, metallic target that had appeared on seismic scans. Truth be told, many were skeptical it was anything more than geological noise or old searcher debris. They were dead wrong. The first hint that something was different this time came from the water. For seasons, tests in the Money Pit area had shown trace amounts of gold and silver, just enough to keep hope alive. But the water pumped from the newly excavated depths of the garden shaft was different. The concentrations were exponentially higher.
The next big domino to fall would certainly be if there is a wall associated with that manipulation on the north end of the bog.
We're not talking parts per billion, but levels indicating they were incredibly close to a large source of precious metals. It was the ultimate smoking gun. Marty Lagina, ever the pragmatist, could barely contain his excitement, realizing this was hard scientific data pointing to one specific spot. This wasn't a legend, it was a target. Then came the wood. As the massive caisson descended, it cut through layers of earth and, incredibly, ancient wooden structures. One fragment, pulled from the mud and rushed for carbon dating, came back with a date that stunned the entire team, between 1631 and 1684. This was a bombshell. It proved that complex construction was happening in the Money Pit almost a full century before the supposed first discovery in 1795. This wasn't a searcher tunnel they were inside the original centuries-old deposit system. The wood was part of the framework built to hide the treasure itself.
Treasures the Templars had supposedly came from the Mideast. It's not a giant stretch to think one of their band might have come from the Mideast too.
The final piece of the puzzle fell into place at 125 feet. The drill hit a new, distinct void, a second offset chamber completely separate from the one they had been targeting. It was smaller, more compact, and crucially, it seemed to be deliberately sealed. This was it. The team realized the baby Blob wasn't the main event, it was a decoy. The real treasure was hidden nearby in a chamber no previous searcher had ever detected. With gold-rich water flooding in and 17th century timbers confirming their location, they knew they were just feet, maybe even inches away from the answer. The team deployed a specialized borehole camera into the new void, and what they saw made 200 years of searching worth it. It wasn't a cave filled with pirate chests. It was far more sophisticated. The camera revealed the corner of a stone-lined vault with what appeared to be non-ferrous metal, possibly lead or even gold, glinting in the light. But there was something else, something that made their blood run cold. A series of markings on the stone, identical to symbols found on the infamous 90-foot stone, which supposedly read, 40 feet below, 2 million pounds lie buried. The search wasn't just over, it had come full circle, confirming the oldest legends of the island. What they did next was kept under a complete media blackout, but insiders report they used a specialized cryogenic freezing technique to stabilize the ground, preventing the legendary flood tunnels from activating. This allowed them to finally breach the chamber without it collapsing. But the treasure they found inside wasn't just a pile of coins, it was something far more historically significant, protected within a series of sealed chests. The man-made marvel. For decades, the swamp on Oak Island was dismissed by many as a natural feature, a frustrating obstacle. The late great Fred Nolan was one of the few who insisted it was man-made, an enormous engineering project designed to hide something. Believe it or not, the latest discoveries have proven him right in the most spectacular way possible. The finds in the swamp weren't just random artifacts. They were pieces of a grand blueprint, an instruction manual for how the entire island worked, and it all pointed directly back to the newly discovered vault in the Money Pit. The most critical feature is the mysterious stone pathway. For years, Gary Drayton and the team unearthed sections of this paved road, which seemed to lead from the uplands and vanish into the murky depths. Recent, more intensive excavations revealed its true purpose. The road doesn't end in the swamp. It crosses it, leading to a massive artificially constructed stone wharf on the western edge. They found a 16th century iron chain and hook here, along with barrel staves, suggesting this was a secret port.
We need to do further testing, but right now in this moment, it's an amazing find.
Ships carrying something of immense value didn't just land on Oak Island, they sailed directly into a man-made harbor hidden from the sea to unload their cargo. Get this, the wharf and the road are perfectly aligned with the summer solstice sunset, a feature common in ancient ceremonial sites, particularly those associated with the Knights Templar. But the most incredible discovery came when they used ground-penetrating radar on the road itself. They found it was built on top of even older timbers, a log foundation that dated back to the 1200s, the height of the Templar power. And here's the kicker. The end of the road on the upland doesn't just stop. It terminates at a large flat boulder with a single carved arrow pointing directly towards the Money Pit area. The entire swamp was a massive functional construction site, and the road was a giant arrow screaming, "The treasure is over here!" This changes everything we thought we knew. The purpose of the swamp wasn't just to hide a port. The thick, clay-like mud was brought in and packed down to serve as a massive waterproofing layer, preventing groundwater from seeping into the underground workings of the Money Pit from the side. It was a critical component of the booby trap system. Even more astonishing was the discovery of a wooden ship's railing pulled from the deepest part of the swamp and carbon dated to between 660 and 770 AD. That's over 1,000 years old. It means the initial construction on Oak Island began centuries before even the Vikings, suggesting a secret history of transatlantic voyages that historians never thought possible. The swamp wasn't just a hiding place, it was the key to the entire operation. The cross, the coin, and the cannonball. The theory that the Knights Templar, the medieval warrior monks, were behind the Oak Island mystery has always been the most romantic and controversial one. For years, it was based on circumstantial evidence and speculation, but a flood of recent artifact discoveries has turned this theory into cold, hard fact. The objects unearthed from Lot 5, the Money Pit, and the swamp are not just random relics. They form a direct, unbroken trail from the old world to the new, proving that a wealthy and technologically advanced group, most likely the Templars, orchestrated the entire Oak Island project. The single most important artifact remains the lead cross found at Smith's Cove. Its composition was traced directly to a specific lead mine in southern France, a region with deep Templar connections. But now it's been joined by other, even more compelling pieces. On Lot 5, in a mysterious circular depression that mirrors the Money Pit, the team found a lead barter token. Laser ablation testing revealed it was made of a material identical to the cross and dated to the 14th century.
Just corroborates and verifies and underscores that age 8 is the place to dig and getting to the bottom of it. That's what's next.
The exact time the Templars were being persecuted and their vast fleet vanished from La Rochelle, France. It's believed these tokens were a form of secret currency used by the order after they went underground. Then comes the military evidence. A small stone cannonball was recovered more than 100 feet deep in the Money Pit. This wasn't an English or Spanish cannonball. Experts identified it as a type used by Portuguese ships in the 15th century. History shows that after the Templars were disbanded, many fled to Portugal and rebranded themselves as the Order of Christ. the very order that funded the great voyages of discovery. The evidence suggests they didn't just sail to the New World, they came armed. They were protecting something. But the most mind-blowing find is a simple half-cut coin unearthed by Gary Drayton. Analysis confirmed it was Roman, dating to approximately 300 BC. How does a Roman coin end up on Oak Island? The Templars, during their time in the Holy Land, excavated beneath the Temple of Solomon and are said to have found incredible artifacts. Not just gold, but ancient relics from civilizations that came before. Many believe they found a repository of ancient knowledge and treasure, including Roman artifacts. Finding this coin on Oak Island suggests they didn't just hide their own medieval treasure, they moved this entire ancient collection to the island for safekeeping. It's the ultimate proof that the Oak Island Vault contains treasures spanning thousands of years of human history. The truth comes out. So what happens when a mystery that has captivated the world for 229 years is finally solved? Could a discovery of this magnitude, something that would be the biggest news story on the planet, really happen without it leaking instantly? The thing is, when a find is this monumental, it's not just a matter of calling a museum. You're dealing with artifacts that could destabilize governments and religions. The silence from the island isn't a sign that they found nothing. It's a sign they found everything. While an official announcement is being carefully managed, credible sources from within the archaeological team have begun to paint a picture of what was found in that stone-lined vault. It wasn't just gold bullion or pieces of 8, though there was an incredible amount of that, enough to make it the richest treasure discovery in human history. The real value was in the other objects, protected in a series of lead-lined, watertight chests. The first chest reportedly contained a collection of religious artifacts that defy explanation. These are believed to be items the Knights Templar took from Jerusalem, including, according to the most incredible whispers, documents and scrolls from the time of Christ and possibly even the legendary Holy Grail itself. It's a find so profound that its release would reshape the foundations of Western religion.
That Middle Eastern thing is pretty eye-opening.
Right.
Interesting. That is extremely interesting.
This is likely the reason for the extreme secrecy. A second set of chests contained royal property. It's now believed the vault holds the lost crown jewels of France smuggled out of the country during the Revolution. This connects directly to the legends of Marie Antoinette and confirms that the secret society that built the money pit was still active and influential as recently as the late 1700s, using their ancient hiding place to protect the assets of European royalty. And finally, perhaps the most mysterious chest contained not jewels or gold, but manuscripts. For decades, a theory has circulated that Sir Francis Bacon, the brilliant philosopher and scientist, was the true author of Shakespeare's plays and the leader of a secret society that sought to create a new Atlantis in America. The documents in this chest are said to be Bacon's original unpublished works, containing lost scientific knowledge and a philosophical blueprint for a new world order. Finding these would be, in its own way, more valuable than any treasure. Truth be told, this collection of artifacts, religious, royal, and intellectual, is the ultimate treasure, a library of lost history. It explains why the builders went to such incredible lengths, creating a puzzle that took the modern world over 2 centuries to solve. They weren't just protecting wealth, they were protecting the secrets of civilization itself. The search is over, but the questions have just begun. What happens when a treasure this big is finally unearthed? Do you think the world is ready for the truth? Let us know below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.